The main function of the county board is budgeting and appropriations. But at this point in history, I don't think that's the most important function. Instead, the county board must work to make Muskegon a business-friendly and employment-friendly environment. The board must fully commit itself to bring in new companies and helping create new ones here in Muskegon County. I favor starting a fully funded business incubator, helping to provide as many as 100 new businesses at any one time, which will be providing training in business management through MCC, Baker, SCORE, and various chambers of commerce throughout the county. This would provide the building blocks of a renewal here in Muskegon County, and also a draw for business and industry from outside our general county and our state. At the end of 2 years, when these companies graduate from the incubator, they would be obligated to stay in Muskegon County for as many as 10 years, or paying back with interest the dollars that were invested in them.
Okay, thank you.
Same question to you, Mr. Mahoney. What is the main function of a Muskegon County Commissioner?
There's several main functions from my point of view. The first, of course, is to set policies that prioritize the allocation of resources for the various programs that the county operates. The second, from my point of view, is to act as a liaison for individual citizens, local units of government, or businesses to the county to help them in their dealings with the various departments. Most of the phone calls I get are, how can I do, what can I, who do I have to talk to get things done? And finally, our third responsibility is to encourage responsible growth throughout the county. You can do that in a variety of ways. At this point, for example, we are upfronting some match money for the water system that will be going out to 4-2. Those are the kinds of things that we can do. We don't have a whole lot of money to upfront to anybody, but we can do some things.
Thank you.
And Mr. Dewey, same to you. What is the main function of a Muskegon County Commissioner?
Well, I think that the main function of a county commissioner is to provide the best possible atmosphere to assist citizens in growth and businesses and growth. I'm not sure how I'm going to go about doing this because I don't have the extended experience that my colleagues up there do. I think that the importance of a county commissioner is to really provide an atmosphere where growth is possible and to make the county a good place to live, raise a family, and for industries to grow and prosper.
Okay, thank you.
This question was Mr. Mahoney.
No.
In a recent tour of the county jail, it had an unsafe feel about it for our deputies and employees working there. Do we need a new jail, and how would you go about accomplishing that goal?
I would say yes to start with. It was once said about a certain vehicle that it was unsafe at any speed, and the jail is similar to that. It's unsafe. It's unsafe for employees, it's unsafe for inmates. It is not a good situation. We have about $6 million set aside to help seed money to start a renovated or new jail, but that's not enough to build by any means. And it's not appropriate just to build bigger boxes of hotel. At this point, before trying a millage or bond, which we will have to do, we need to look at the entire criminal justice system. We're currently screening inmates to make sure that they are appropriately placed in jail, perhaps in mental health, those kinds of areas, rather than just lock them up. And we need to also look at our judges and how they are sentencing people. Is it just an automatic jail sentence, or are there other options that can be done for non-violent people? Thank you.
Mr. Dewey, same question. In a recent tour, it felt unsafe at the jail. Do you think that we need a new jail, and how would you go about accomplishing that goal?
Well, I don't really know if we need a new jail or not. I think that we should take a look at some other things besides the jail also. Mr. Mahoney indicated the judicial system. I think that we should, do need a new jail. Take a look at some options. There are lots of, I think, different options in building a new building. Recently, I shared these questions with my son, who happens to be serving with the Navy Dewey. And he suggested that, he said, Dad, you know, we've got guys over here that live in barbed wire compounds. They live in tents where the temperature ranges 60 to 70 degrees every day. They shoot people who try to get in without authorization. Let's turn that around a little bit. Perhaps we could have our convicted felons living in a tent city, let's say at the wastewater
15 seconds.
program. We can get the materials from the Army surplus organization. We can renovate the jail to hold prisoners who are waiting for service or for processing in a little nicer facility.
Okay, thank you very much.
Mr. Berman, same question. In our recent tour of the county jail, it was unsafe, or we felt it was unsafe. We need a new jail, and how would you go about accomplishing that goal?
Imagine how it felt for the inmates. There's no doubt that we've got a county jail that is in desperate need of something, whether that be a complete renovation, whether that be tearing it down and building a new one. It's obvious that something needs to be done. Talking with various sheriffs that I've had the opportunity to talk with, I'm hearing that non-budgeted maintenance costs are taking place over there on pretty much a daily basis. That turns into real money real quickly. That being said, however, we do have this other little problem. We've got a shrinking budget. We've got fewer and fewer families that are paying property taxes. And that creates this really unusual problem of not having a whole lot of money. My question to anyone on the county board is, do we take away services from those people that have not broken the law in favor of making sure that those people that have broken the law have better comfort? I'm not sure that that makes a whole lot of sense, and I think that taking away services from those people and those residents that need them is paramount to disaster in a county.
15 seconds.
I think that we unfortunately are in a position that we need to make do with what we've got until we start to turn things around in the county and rebuild our tax base.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Dewey, prioritize for us the two most important activities the county provides.
I think the two most important activities the county provides are probably the roads and the safety. We want to be sure that we can move around the community, move around the county, move around the state. We also want to be sure that we can do so safely. And we want to be able to live safely. We want to have clean water. So I think those things are of primary importance.
Okay, thank you.
Same question to you, Mr. Berman. Prioritize for us the two most important activities the county provides.
Well, the two most important, I think, are the sheriff's departments and the courts. However, those aren't really things that the county board can control. Controlling crime and settling disputes are wonderful, but they're not areas that this job really focuses on. I'd rather talk about what the commissioners can control. We can control costs by making sure that labor costs are reasonable and insisting that every position within the county be justified. We can increase revenue by bringing more business to the county, employing more of our citizens in the local economy, and increasing our property values. We must also work with Muskegon, the city of, to make this a more desirable place for people outside of the county and outside of the state to live. We need to attract people that may have been here once upon a time and have forgotten we existed. My family experienced a dear friend of mine coming here with his wife a summer ago, and the wife piped up with, you know, when I was a little kid, My family used to come here to White Lake.
15
And
seconds.
I forgot that it existed. And she said, you know, this would be a place that if you reminded people that it existed, we'd come back. My question is, how many people like that used to come here? And how many people have forgotten that we exist and have bought into Muskegon County isn't a great place to be? I think it is. I remember when it was.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Mahoney, would you please prioritize for us the two most important activities the county provides?
Well, for the most part, we're talking public safety with the county board. We have about 60%, if we look at the budget overall, goes toward public safety, and that's the sheriff, the prosecutor's office, courts, public defenders, health department, and community mental health. All of those are public safety issues. The other priority that I deal with a lot, and Mr. Fisher deals with a lot, deals with public utilities such as water and sewer in a cooperative manner so that local units can have infrastructure remaining up to date. And out here in Fruitland, one of the infrastructure things that we've been working on, and been trying to, along with some others this way, is an expanded broadband access in this township.
Thank you.
Mr. Berman, we'll start with you this time. In a recent Muskegon Chronicle article, it stated the county faced a potential $6.3 million deficit due to declining property taxes and revenue sharing. What are the solutions to this shortfall?
Well, I guess one of the things that we need to realize is that when the budget was put together by state law, it is a balanced budget. That's the good news. The bad news is that it doesn't take into account those things that we cannot control. And those things being, we've got a shrinking tax base that needs to be addressed. We need to work diligently to preserve the jobs that are here and to bring new jobs here to increase that tax base. Otherwise, we're going to continue to see 1 in 4 families leaving Muskegon County. We're going to watch United van lines shipping things outside of this area. And we can't continue to have that sort of an environment to survive. We need to work with within the budget to find areas that we can save funds. Brookhaven, about a year and a half ago, the Muskegon County attorney presented the idea of selling Brookhaven, privatizing. The county board voted that down. While I'm not necessarily a fan of privatizing, I think that we need to, here in the short run maybe a 25-year period, look at contracting the management of both Brookhaven and the airport, both areas that we're continuously looking at a slippery slope on and losing funds in and dipping into the general operating budget to fund. I think that will provide us at least some stability and take those funds, refocus them in other areas that we can utilize to regenerate jobs, to contribute to urban development within the county. Thank you.
Mr. Mahoney, what do you feel are the solutions to this shortfall?
In the short term, the county continues to consolidate positions and looks for other efficiencies within the budget. We're gradually reducing the base by changing new hire retirements and capping the county's contribution to health insurance, and that's short term. Obviously, we need to expand the business opportunities if we can. We're also, whenever possible, seeking grants to help us out with our various programs, because as the finances dip, not just for the county, but for all the citizens in the county, our services are taxed even more. Those mental health services, the things, the Department of Education and Training, all of those services get hit harder when the citizens, in fact, are in trouble.
Thank you.
Mr. Dewey, would you please tell us what you feel are the solutions for this shortfall?
You can't spend what you don't have. If we, I know the budget's supposed to be balanced when it's passed. I don't know why our budget continues to increase. I think the government is getting too large. I think we have to cut back. I think that we should, we have to definitely encourage businesses to come to Muskegon. We might provide more tax incentives for them to do that. But we have to stay with what we bring in. I have to do that at my house. All of you folks, I think, have to do it at your houses too. We can't borrow. We can't plan on paying it back. We're already too darn deep in debt.
Ms. Berman?
Last and final questions, we'll start with Mr. Mahoney. What makes you the best candidate for the Muskegon County District 1 Commissioner?
I think my experience as a board member and over the last 2 years as chairperson have given me the tools to be the best candidate. In addition, I think my efforts to stay in touch with all the local units of government in my area and other areas have created a working relationship with those local folks that will produce many dividends in the future.
Mr. Dewey, what makes you the best candidate?
My activity, I think. I've been a Muskegon County resident basically all my life. I've worked with community mental health. I've worked in the Michigan Department of Corrections. I've worked with Pine Rest in Grand Rapids. I've been a teacher. I've been a business owner. I've owned 3 businesses over the course of about 30 years or so. I'm a teacher, school administrator, retired. I've been a truck driver. I've been in unemployment. I think it's time we start looking at alternatives to what we're currently doing. What the real answer is, I don't know if I'm going to be very good or not, but I'm going to go out and do my best to find the answers that we need to keep us going as a vital and vibrant community. I'm willing to ask questions. I sure don't know everything. I think that's going to make me a good county commissioner.
And same to you, Mr. Berman, what makes you the best candidate?
Well, I'm from Muskegon County. My father and mother were both teachers here in Muskegon County. And my father and mother and I were booted out of Muskegon County by my grandfather, who owned Berman's dry cleaning in downtown Muskegon. When my grandfather said, there isn't opportunity here. And we went down to Kalamazoo, and I was raised, for the most part, in the Kalamazoo area, and spending every weekend up here working at my grandfather's dry cleaner, turning down the cuffs on men's pants and sweeping them out. My great uncle ran the forum in White Lake forever, owned and ran it. From them, I learned several things that were incredibly important. One of those is don't be afraid of a good fight, and don't be afraid to fight for those things that other people need you to fight for. I have a degree from Western Michigan University in political science, history, philosophy, and religion. My father used to joke about being almost useful enough to sit down in any bar in the country and carry on an intellectual conversation with anyone. I complemented that with an MBA from Cornell University, focused in marketing. I've had to meet strong budgets. I've had as many as 240 employees at a time. I understand what it's like to work within the constraints of the budget and budget needs. I understand what it's like to be in a situation where your family can't feed itself, where your family is having difficulty paying for your mortgage. My family's gone through that for the last 18 months.
Thank you very much. Okay, this concludes this section. Let's give these folks a night.